Hello scholars, this brief orientation video is going to introduce you all to the final written assignment for this class, which is the CPHS research proposal. And as you remember from lecture, CPHS means Committee for the Protection of Human Subjects. This particular written assignment is a big one. It's worth 20% of your final course grade, and it's going to test your knowledge and skills that you've learned over the entire semester in putting together an original research study proposal. So I want to go over some of the requirements of this assignment and kind of orient you to how to complete it. So in order to find what you need, you can go to the CPHS Research Proposal tab here in your Blackboard shell. And you should start out by reading on the CPHS proposal link here all of the instructions and pointers. And I encourage you all to do this before you begin typing up this assignment. In this tab, you'll find everything that you need. There's going to be the proposal itself, which is a Microsoft Word doc. You should download this document, save it to your computer, and as you work on it, every time you work on it, just go ahead and email yourself a copy so that you always have a backup. And this is true with any written assignment in case your computer crashes. Don't put it on a jump drive or a zip drive because you can lose that. And so make sure that you do that so you always have a backup copy of your current work. There's some instructions here, again, that are important to read. And then down here is where you submit your CPHS research proposal and required attached documents. So what we'll do first is kind of talk about what you need to upload, and then we'll talk about the form itself and some tips and things to complete each section of the proposal. So on May 1st, your proposal is due by 5 p.m. And make sure that all these attachments are either in Microsoft Word document format, .doc or .x, or PDF format. Any combination of these is fine. If it's any other type of file, we will not be able to open it. And whatever we cannot open will not be graded. So make sure that you double check the file extension name to make sure they're in the right format. So you will need to upload your CPHS proposal, which is in Microsoft Word document, and that is right here where you download, right? An informed consent form that you type up. That might include an assent form if your proposal involves using children as participants. Your instrument or measures. Okay, you may just have one instrument or you may have two depending on what variables you're measuring. Your reference page. And then if you want to do optional extra credit for this assignment, the extra credit is worth up to 5 points onto your CPHS proposal grade. And that would include completing an SPSS data file. And remember, there in the data file there are two tabs. There are data view and variable view. Now all you have to do if you want this extra credit is based on what you're measuring and in your study, you will only create the variables in the variable view tab only. You're not going to make up fake data or fake responses in the data view tab, okay? So all of those you need to, with the, this one being optional, all of those you need to upload as attachments into the CPHS proposal assignment link. Okay, again, those are all due by May 1st. So with this assignment, this is going to give you real experience in completing a research proposal. Normally, these go to the IRB committee or the CPHS committee at an institution. For the purposes of this class, it will not be sent to the IRB committee. You will not actually be submitting this proposal so that you can conduct this research. This is just for the purpose of this class, and it will stop with the instructor. Okay, the instructor will not pass it on to any IRB committee. So it's simply a proposal for an original research study. What is this proposal based on? Well, you should have picked a topic of interest, which you used for your literature review, and you're going to use that topic of interest as a springboard to develop an original study, right? And so you should not change your topic unless on your literature review an instructor made that request that, hey, this topic has nothing to do with social work, you need to change it. Otherwise, you need to follow that literature review topic through to this assignment, okay? Now, at the end of your literature review, in the very last section, you should have come up with some ideas for future research studies based on some of the gaps that you found in your previous literature that you reviewed. So the first thing that you need to do for this assignment is think of a specific research question. That your research question should be very simple, testable, measurable, feasible, ethical. It should include 1 to 2 specific variables, and I encourage you to email your instructor your draft research question before you start working on this proposal. Now, this is not required, but it is encouraged. And I say this because if your research question is all messed up, then your entire proposal will also be messed up. The research question is going to be the foundation for building everything around that in your research proposal. So you come up with a research question that will help inform your variables, your instruments, your measures, your methodology. So if that alone is messed up, then your whole research proposal will suffer. So again, you are encouraged to email your instructor your research question idea for feedback, okay? Again, this is not required, but it is highly encouraged so that your grade does not suffer. Okay? And then what you need to also do before you get started is you need to review a couple of things. Okay. The first thing you need to review is on your syllabus, page 16. The instructions for the CPHS proposal begin, right? And this section is very helpful because it gives you pointers for each section on tips on how to complete each section, okay? Now this is super, super important because this was written with a lot of the previous mistakes students have made in mind. Okay, so you can avoid making common mistakes from the past by reading this very, very carefully. These are all detailed tips on how to complete each section. So make sure that you read that part in the syllabus. It starts on page 16. Also, it's a good idea to go into the Grading Rubrics tab in Blackboard. Right here, Rubrics, how will each assignment be graded? And just check out the grading rubric for the CPHS proposal. And this is exactly what we're going to be using to grade this assignment that you submit. So it's important to, once you finish writing your proposal to double check your work against this, to make sure that, oh, you know, I forgot this, or I didn't do this very well, right? And then you can go back and make corrections before you submit it. Now keep in mind, if you do the extra credit for this assignment, that 5 points is going to be added on to your overall score for this particular assignment. Okay, again, that's worth up to 5 points. Okay, so let's take a look at the proposal itself. Again, you're going to download the proposal from this right here. You're just going to click on this blue link. You're going to, the first thing you're going to do is to save this to your desktop so that you know, you have it every time you work on it. Don't wait till the last minute to begin this. Do not wait till the night before to email your research question, your proposed research question, to your instructor. That is not enough time to get this done. And you need to give yourself, you know, several weeks to complete this, because there are a lot of parts on this proposal. And again, it's testing your knowledge and skills of the things that you've learned over the entire semester. Okay, so this is the form. The proposal is going to be typed directly onto. Okay, so you're just going to fill this out. And the reason we have you doing this instead of writing a paper is because in the real world of social work practice, if you want to apply for a grant, if you want to do a research study, it's more likely going to be in the form of a application that you complete. It will have different sections similar to these. And so this is going to give you some real-world practice into what you can expect when you're a practitioner. Okay, so again, the first thing you need to start out with on this form is number 2. Okay, come up with a research question, and you're going to email your instructor, and they'll give you feedback to make sure that this is as strong as it can be and as solid as it can be. Everything on this form revolves around a strong research question. So again, if you don't get any feedback, it could be all messed up, and it will mess up the entire proposal. Okay, so I highly encourage you to do this part first. Once this part is done and it's solid, then you can begin, you know, working on the details of this this particular question, and then just kind of start from the top. So assuming that you have a solid research question, let's just go through this form, and I'll start at the top here. Again, you're going to type directly onto this form. So the date, again, this is all hypothetical. What is the date you are submitting this proposal? If you want to put, you know, May 1st, you can. And then you're going to come up with a title for your research proposal. Okay, so you're just going to type it right here. Okay, the researcher is going to be your name. Okay. So you're going to put your name here. The faculty sponsor, you can put your instructor's name. Okay. And the proposed project end date. If you were to actually conduct your study, what hypothetical end date would you indicate here for the study? What hypothetical date would the study end? And you just put this here. Okay. For data collection dates, you're going to think about, if you were really to you know, pull this study off and get approval for it, when would data collection begin and when would it end? Okay, so you're going to type in the dates, and I'm just going to make some up here to August 1st, 2020. Okay, and this all depends on, you know, is this a repeated measure study? Is it a longitudinal study? Everyone's is going to be a little bit different. Human subjects description, again, you're just going to type in approximate estimates for the age ranges, the number of participants, the % male and female. The project summary, you're going to type in at least 3 to 5 sentences that just give an overview, similar to what you would see in an abstract. maybe at a professional conference. The background and significance is where you're going to type in a portion of your previous literature review. So look back at the literature review assignment that you submitted, and you're going to include a brief portion of that into this box. You're going to type directly into this box, okay? Make sure that you cite at least 3 sources in APA format, and then you're also going to cite those 3 sources full citation in a references page. So one of your attachments is going to be a references page, okay? Just like this, it's going to be a separate attachment when you submit your assignment, and you will put the full citation of those 3 sources here. Now, this was an area in the literature review assignment where a lot of people missed a lot of points because you did not use your APA manual. We're going to really check to make sure that you have cited in the text of this brief portion of your literature review here correct APA format, and we're also going to really check to make sure you made corrections onto your references page and used your APA manual to do that. Do not guess. Do not guess. Use your APA manual. Okay, and this really, this part just justifies your study. It gives support to why you're conducting your study. Okay. Again, this brings us back to the research question. In each box, there are sometimes several questions. Several questions you must address in each box. So here, what is your research question? You're going to type, my research question is, okay, my hypothesis is, okay, I have 2 specific variables. And then you're going to describe those there. The level of measurement is for X variable is, same thing for the Y variable. The level of measurement for this is, X is defined as, or operationalized as. So you see that there are several parts of this question. You must answer all parts into this box. Okay, and make sure that you write clearly so that we know, okay, this is your research question, this is the variable, this is the operational definition for that variable. Don't make the instructor guess as to which part of this question you are answering. Okay, so just make sure that you use some of this language in your answer so we can clearly identify, oh, you're answering this part here, oh, you're answering that part there. Research method, design, and procedure. You see there's a few parts, Part A, Part B, Part C. And so for answering Part A, describe your methodology and design. Is it exploratory, descriptive, or experimental? Which specific type of research design are you going to use? Okay, so make sure that you review the different types of research designs, exploratory, descriptive, or experimental. And then if you say that it is using a descriptive design, you also have to discuss which specific type of descriptive design you're going to use. So this will test your knowledge about the types of research designs, which are also outlined on one of the handouts. Okay, so again, don't guess, use the specific terminology. Okay, answer question B here. Right? And then the answer to question C will go right here. Do not delete any of the ABC that is already written for you. Okay, do not delete any of these letters. Make sure that each answer for each letter goes next to that specific letter. And do not delete any parts of this particular research proposal. Okay. Instruments for research with human subjects. Here you're going to answer these questions and you're really going to describe the instrument that you will use. It could be an instrument that has already been created, like a standardized instrument, or it could be a survey that you create, a do-it-yourself survey, or it could be some type of a summative instrument that you create. Either way it goes, you must describe your instrument here, and you must attach the instrument that you're proposing to use for your original research study. Okay? Human subject source and selection criteria. You've got to answer all of these questions. Okay, make sure you answer question A next to letter A. Question B should be answered next to question B. Don't delete these letters. Informed consent. You're going to describe here the procedure for obtaining informed consent and answer question B here. You will also attach your informed consent form that you will create yourself in the assignment link with this proposal. Okay, so here you're going to describe it, describe how you're going to obtain it, right, and how it is culturally sensitive. And then you're also going to attach it. Confidentiality or anonymity. This section you're going to answer this question. This is just letter A, but it has lots of parts. Okay, so make sure that you answer these questions in the order that they're listed here in section 7. Okay. Research benefits, you're going to describe here any direct or indirect benefits to participants, as well as any rewards or incentives, keeping in mind that benefits are different from incentives. Okay, so make sure you review the lecture and the required reading on that if you need a refresher. Risks. Here you're going to describe any foreseeable risks. A couple of things. 99% of the time there is even a slight chance for some risk. That could be psychological, emotional, physical, political, financial. You cannot put here, there are no risks from this study. Okay, so I want you to think about that. What might be a foreseeable risk for participating in your research study for your participants? Okay, that's the first thing in mind. Really think about that. And you also have to address that in your informed consent form. Okay. In addition, you are going to describe a referral that you will talk about in your informed consent. You will give this information to your participants in case they do experience that emotional discomfort or financial harm. Who can they go to get help, right? If in the case that they experience that discomfort. That cannot be you. That person cannot be the researcher. Okay, that's called a dual relationship, and that is not allowed in research. So you may have to look around online to find out, is there a crisis, a suicide hotline? Is there, free financial consultation? Where can that participant go in case they experience that discomfort or harm? Okay. And here, if you propose doing a study at a school, at another business or organization, you have to describe here, which agency, which organization you would approach, right? How you would obtain permission from them. So if it's HISD, Houston Independent School District, you're going to have to go on their website and find out who you might go to if you were to do this study. Again, you're not going to do it, but you have to look on the website to find out who you would contact to get permission to involve that agency in the research project or their clients in the research project. And so you have to describe that here. Okay? And that is the form. So here in this proposal, you're putting everything together that you've learned. You've learned about ethics, research using human subjects, informed consent forms, variables, levels of measurement, sampling, instruments, standardized and non-standardized. You've learned about how to develop a strong research question and hypothesis. You've learned about literature reviews and how to identify the gaps in the literature. You've learned about how to cite sources in APA format. So you're putting all of this together in a research proposal and explaining what methodology would you use to go about testing an original research question that you have come up with based on the information that you have read about in terms of that particular topic of interest. Okay, so that's it. And make sure that every time you work on this, you save it to your desktop and you email yourself a copy as a backup, because there will be no excuses about my computer crashed or I saved my form on a jump drive and I lost it. You know, when you email it to yourself and have a backup copy, you will never lose your work. Okay, again, everything here that you need is in the CPHS Research Proposal tab. Make sure that you read in detail all of this information here on the tab, and make sure that when you submit your CPHS proposal assignment that you attach all of these things to the assignment link. Okay? And again, there's another opportunity for extra credit to get up to 5 points onto your CPHS proposal grade. That concludes our orientation to the CPHS research proposal assignment. If you have any questions, please email your instructor or see your instructor during virtual office hours.